So we're looking at tools for effective meeting. We record point number 1. Establish hard edges. Establish hard edges regarding start time. Establish hard edges regarding start time and end time and end time of the meeting. Number 2, create a written list of agendas. Create a written list of agendas and circulate them in advance to the expected participants Number 3, state the exact desired outcome. State the exact desired outcome. Number 4, review the minutes and action items. Review the minutes and action items for the previous meeting. Review the minutes and action items for the previous meeting. Number 5 is take written minutes. Take written minutes. Number 6 is clarify action points. Clarify action points. Action points, comma. Specify the deliverables. Specify the deliverables. Assign action point to one person. Assign action point to one person. And set the due date. And set the due date. Number 7 is determine the next meeting date. Determine the next meeting date. Determine the next meeting date. So those are some of the rules that if you wish to have a very effective meeting, a very productive meeting, that you need to adhere to. Number 1, we are saying you set very strict edges, as in where do we start the meeting and where do we end the meeting. If we say our meeting is starting at 8:30, let's all be here at 8:30. If we say our meeting is going to end at 10:30, let's run the meeting to end up to 10:30. Not starting earlier than 8:30 or much later than 8:30, not finishing too early than 10:30, again not overextending. such that the meeting that was supposed to end at 10:30, we are ending at what? 12. Or a meeting that people came prepared to go to 10:30, by 9 we say the meeting is over. So that would be wrong. Obviously, we are not saying that it will be so strict to the time. There will be small overlaps here and there. So you can start slightly earlier or slightly later. Like now, our today's lesson, we have not begun exactly at 8:30. But I don't think we can objectively say that umechelewa. We are still within time, but we have not met exact 8:30. Then you need to create an agenda. People need to know what they are coming for. Like you people, when you are coming to this class, you knew you are coming for communication skills. That was an agenda. If you came and found that it is law or it is FA, in as much as you still do FA and law, you feel a bit disappointed because you are not coming 8:30 for law. You are coming 8:30 for communication skills. So the agenda should be written and should be circulated in advance. And then we are saying you need to state the exact desired outcome. We are coming for this class to do what? We are coming to learn. We are coming to take notes. Ile siku tutatangaza mtihani, let it be known we are coming for art. We are calling for this meeting so that we can discuss and pass this agenda or do this. The other thing is review the minutes or the action points of the last minute of the last meeting. So when we met last, we need to review. Like if you are keen, those who are here when we began, have checked where did we stop last time. You need to check what did you do last time. Then you take minutes, and minutes should be in writing. Just like in this class, what we're writing, there are minutes, there are deliberations of this meeting, because this is also a meeting. But you are taking the minutes by writing. I've seen some students who come to class and they want to tell me that mi nitasikiza kila kitu kwa kichwa, nitaiweka. Fine, if you can, but very few of us will manage. You cannot store all this information in your head all through. Maybe a bit of information, but not all of them for long. The other thing is you need to clarify the action points. That is what we need to do. And you need to know the deliverable. What must you deliver by that time? And who is going to be in charge of that? And what time are we going to get those results? Then you determine the time for the next meeting. But Tekra, you seem confused. So I think I forgot to post the video. Maybe after this, I will post the video, and also you can copy the notes from here. So we proceed and look at documents used in a meeting. Documents used in a meeting. When you go to a formal meeting, what are the documents that are used there? Documents. Documents used in a meeting. The first one is called notice. And we write that a notice is an indication. Or expression of the intention to hold a meeting. Of the intention to hold a meeting. First of all, on the minimum, a notice should contain the following. On the minimum, a notice should contain the following. One, name of the company. Name of the company. Number two, day, comma, date, comma, time, and venue of the meeting. And venue of the meeting. Three, purpose or agenda of the meeting. Purpose or agenda of the meeting. Another one, number four, is date of circulation. Date of circulation. Number five is convener or secretary's signature. Convener or secretary's signature. And then down there is a sentence on its own, right? That a notice should be sent. A notice should be sent to every expected participant. Should be sent to every expected participant. So that is the first document you'll find in the world of meetings, the notice. And we are saying notice is simply an intimation, it's simply an indication, it's simply an expression that we intend to hold a meeting. And depending on the company, we have various contents of our notice, but we are saying on the minimum, a notice should have 5 things. It should tell us the name of the company. It should tell us the day, the time, the venue, and the date of the meeting. You need to clarify. You need to clarify. Otherwise, if you don't clarify all these things, especially in regard to some meetings, which traditionally we know when they are held. For example, if I'm inviting you for my dowry, that will be on 29th of June. Which day will that be? I'm inviting you for my dowry, which will be on 29th of June. It will be on a Saturday. But not a must. But traditionally, we know dowries are held on Saturdays. If I'm inviting you for my wedding on 13th of September, kichwa yako ita reflect that 13th of September must be a Saturday. Because traditionally, we are used to what? Saturdays being the days for dowry, being the days for weddings. Sorry. And so on. But nowadays, we have seen people who are having their weddings on weekdays. We have also seen dowries on weekdays. I remember we had one for our mom on Friday. And one of our cousins came the following day on Saturday. Yeah. So, and because we were not in the village, the guy was calling us. Kwani mko wapi function hakuna? Yeah, isha. Kilikuwa hapo jana. Yeah. Because wakati alisikia your date, he never bothered to check the calendar. He knew that she must be on a Saturday. So it's very, very important to specify the day, the time, and the date. Yeah, and the venue. Yeah. Otherwise, if you don't do this, and in case some people do not want you to attend the meeting, they just omit one of those 4 items, or they confuse or maybe not confuse. They may not confuse it. Like we tell you the class is on the bazaar, and then we hold it in Nation Center. Now that is wrong. What people do, they just omit. You see, when we omit, you cannot take us to a court of law. We can easily say that we forgot. Or we can say, we thought you would know where we normally hold our meeting. But the moment now you say it is in bazaar, and then to Kibia to hold your meeting per nation, then that is deliberate. But I've seen people being kicked out technically of meetings by not being given the correct information. Number 2 is called agenda. Agenda. Or being kicked out by being given too short a notice. I remember there was a board, I was a member, and we started quarreling with the treasurer. Let me use that word, but the correct word is not treasurer. There was some 4 million. The guy had presented to the board that they are not there according to his books of accounts. But when I look at the bank statement, the money is there. And it happened I was the only accountant in that board, now together with this treasurer. So the other members could not understand what is the debate. So we argued to a point that other members now started saying, we go to other things. But little did I know that him and the chair of the board, rather, and the secretary of the board, they were in collusion. They wanted to swindle this money. So what happened now in the subsequent meetings, I would be invited for the meeting a few hours. Like if the meeting is today, I received the notice yesterday at 6 p.m. And because the meeting is far away, now I cannot adjust to go for the meeting tomorrow. So you can't accuse them. We told you there is what? A meeting. But it's deliberate. Otherwise, under normal circumstances, this notice is supposed to be sent 2 weeks in advance. So that 2 weeks I'm able to kujipanga, I'm able to plan my activities, I'm able to look for my traveling costs and so on. Then I go attend meeting. But when you tell me at 6 p.m. that tomorrow we have a meeting at 8, now that technically keeps me out. So that is what happens as far as the notice is concerned. Agenda. And write that agenda means things to be done. Agenda means things to be done. First of all, it is also known as order of business. It is also known as order of business. It should cover the following items. It should cover the following items. One, reading and approval of minutes of the last meeting. Reading and approval of minutes of the last meeting. Number 2, matters arising. Matters arising out of the previous meetings minutes. Matters arising out of the previous meetings minutes. 3, apologies from absent members. Apologies from absent members. Number 4, urgent and non-controversial issues. Urgent and non-controversial issues. Number 5 is matters requiring closer discussion and debates. Matters requiring closer discussion and debates. Number 6, any new items with the approval of the chair. Any new item with the approval of the chair. The next item is date of the next meeting. Date of the next meeting. And the last one is vote of thanks to the chairman, from the chairman. Vote of thanks from the chairman. Vote of thanks from the chairman. Down there we write that an agenda serves the following importances. An agenda serves the following importances. Following importances. 1, advanced communication. Advanced communication. Number 2, meeting the objectives. Meeting the objectives. Number 3, engaging the members. Engaging the members. And number 4 is time management. Time management. So that is what we call agenda or list of agenda. And we are saying it is also called order of business. It is simply a list that shows a summary of the main things that will be done in the meeting and in the order in which they will be done. Some people even go ahead to allocate the time that each of the items on the agenda should take. And again, depending on the formalities in a company, you'll find different styles. But most of the items that you find, one is obviously when we begin with the meeting, we will have to read and approve the minutes. You will always hear after the minutes have been read, we are asked who proposes the meeting, the minutes, and who seconds the minutes. So we have the proposer and the seconder. And once that is done, we get to the matters arising. Matters arising is when we now get the report of anyone who had been assigned to do something in our previous meeting. So they tell us, mliniambia nifanye hii, nilienda sokoni ama nilienda hapa, nikapata hii, this is the position. So we discuss those matters arising. Then from there, we also take apologies from members who are absent. They are usually members who are absent. Actually, there are 3 types of members. We have members who are present. They should be noted. We're going to discuss that in minutes. We have members who are absent with apology, and we also have members who are absent without apology. Yeah, like now in this class, Brian is absent without what? Apology. I'm not aware where he is. Yeah? Oh, it's called Elias. I'm calling him Brian. Okay, Elias. Okay, thank you. There's a day Tekra was not in, but she had informed me that was absent with what? Apology. Yeah. So
Those are the 3 types of members. Then it should be followed by urgent issues that must be discussed in the meeting and the objective achieved, and issues that are not controversial. When something is controversial, it means people have different positions or different views. Wewe unaona hivi, mwingine anaona hivi, ama inafanya wengine wakasirike. So those issues should not be the ones to start the meeting with. Because mkianza the very first 10 minutes mmeanza kukasirikiana, even the other things zenye nzuri huku chini hamtaweza kuongea, because hizo hasira they will be transferred down there. So ordinarily what should happen is that things that we can easily agree, tunaanza na hizo kabla temperatures kupanda. Then sasa zile ziko na mabishano tumalizie nazo. Ndio kama tutarushiana mikono na maneno hata tukose kuelewana, we just close the meeting na kila mtu aende nyumbani. We will come next time. But by the time that is happening, we already have agreed on issues that are urgent and not controversial. Then in case there is a new item that was not on the agenda, it can be introduced, but it's only introduced with the permission of the chairman. Otherwise, tukikubali kila mtu atoke na huko anatuletea new things, that meeting cannot end. Yeah. So we must come and discuss what we agreed. But if the chairman, in his wisdom, decides that the new thing that is being introduced can be discussed, well and good. The other thing is date of the next meeting should be indicated, and there should be a column of the vote of thanks from the chairman. Now, an agenda helps us to do a communication in advance. It helps us to meet the objectives. It also engages the members, and then there is the effective time management. Number 3 document that you'll find in the world of meetings is called minutes. Minutes. And we write that minutes refers to a record. Refers to a record of the decisions taken. Refers to a record of the decisions taken at a formal meeting. At a formal meeting. First of all, they should contain the following. They should contain the following. 1 is name of the company. Name of the company. Number 2, date, time and venue of the meeting. Date, time and venue of the meeting. Number 3, number in order. Number in order. Number in order, as in those are minutes number what? Number 4 is names of chairperson and secretary. Next is names of members present. Names of members present. Comma. Combine and separate. Absent with apology. Absent with apology. And absent without apology. And absent without apology. Another one is attendees by special invitation. Attendees by special invitation. Next is record of transactions. Record of transactions. Another one is signature of the secretary. Signature of the secretary and the chairman for approval. Chairman for approval. Then down there, write that good minutes should have the following characteristics. Good minutes should have the following characteristics. Should have the following characteristics. One is accuracy. Accuracy. Number two is clarity. Clarity. Number three is briefity. Briefity. Number four is self-explanatory. Self-explanatory. Number five is numbered. Numbered. So we're saying when you write minutes, the minutes should be well numbered. Actually, we normally write this. Minute 1 of today's date 13th of 13th of March 2023. Matters arising. Matters arising. So when you go to the next agenda, it's equal minute 2 of the 13th of March 2023. Maybe you are discussing finances, financial what? Report. Then then you go to the next one, that way. So they should be well numbered. They are self-explanatory. Now, when someone looks at this, there are things that are self-explanatory. That means you need to use very simple language. Don't use jargons. Don't use very difficult language. They should be brief. Don't give us a lot of stories. I've gone to places and you find someone who was writing the minutes. It's like they were doing transcription. You know what is transcription? Transcription. Transcription is where you try to capture each and every single word that was mentioned in that meeting. Anyone who spoke, whatever they said, you want to capture. Now that is not right. You will end up with a very detailed statement. The purpose of minutes is simply to capture the decisions. Actually, when you are writing minutes, you are not supposed to say, Kimani said this, Tekra said this, Sam said this. No. You just say the meeting agreed on the following. The meeting disagreed on the following. But not telling us that so and so said this, defended this by saying this. It will defeat the character of briefity. It should also be very, very clear and ensure that you are clear. I mean, the documents are accurate. Actually, when we are coming to read or the minutes are being read, when we are asking for someone to propose and to second, they will check whether the minutes were what? Were accurate. And if there were errors, maybe you captured the name wrongly, the date or whatever, they will be proposed to be rectified. Now, these minutes that we write, they should show the name of the company. They should be numbered. They should show us the date, the time, the venue where the meeting was held. They should show us those who are present in the meeting. And for those who are present in the meeting, you need to show the names of the secretary. So if this is Kimani, who was the chairman, if this is Tekra, who was the secretary, if this is Sam, who was the treasurer, if this is Kelvin, who was maybe the organizing secretary, this is Bridget, who was the the coordinator, and so on. Then here we have other persons who now are not holding what? Any position. So you need to, for these people who are officials, besides their name, you need to indicate the title. Then you tell us members who are there without apology, or who are absent with the apology, and those who do not have the apology. And these minutes are very, very important, especially when it comes to companies, because if someone has failed to attend meetings in 6 consecutive sittings or 6 consecutive months, that person is supposed to actually even to be removed from being a director of that company. Yeah, so we need to show who was there, who was not there. And the other thing is that these minutes, when you come to section 3, you start the company law, you realize that these minutes, once they have been signed by the chairman and by the secretary, they can be produced in a court of law as evidence. They are admissible in a court of law. So it's a very serious document. That's why we are saying it should be well done. Then you should tell us if there is a special attendee. Now, these are people who ordinarily should not attend the meeting, but for some specific functions, they have been invited. Maybe we are discussing about buying land, and none of us is an expert matters land. So we have called a surveyor to come and give a report. Or maybe we are discussing financials, and there are things that need to be explained. So we call the accountant, we call the bursar to come and shed more light. Maybe there is a case, kuna mtu ametupeleka kotini, and we are discussing about it. So we invite a lawyer to come and talk to the board on that matter. Those are the guys we are calling the special invitee. They should be recognized. Then you give us the record of transactions. Those are the deliberations that happened here. And then there should be the signature of those officials. So basically, those are the 3 documents that you find in a meeting. We have the notice, we have the agenda, and we have the minutes. Good. Let's now discuss something else called conferences. 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 That's the minutes.
Wait, do they think someone who might be familiar with the law?
Conferences, and we write that a conference is a gathering of many people. A conference is a gathering of many people who have a common interest, and talk about a specific topic. We'll stop. Conferences are much larger and more formal than meetings. Conferences are much larger and more formal than meetings. I don't know whether you have ever attended a conference. Have you attended a conference? Kongamano. Reject. Are you religious? Now, your religious organizations do not plan for conferences. You need to start attending. You need to start attending those conferences or the so-called conventions. In the world of religion, they call them conventions more, or conferences. Conferences is more commercial, like in government. Yeah. Or yeah, the crusades are not conferences, because crusade is just one person who talks. But a conference is where many members are given an opportunity to air their views. Yeah. Like the one that was happening last year in Egypt. There was a major conference, world conference. It was about what? Weather, good, climate. That was a conference. So all the people who had gathered there, they have a common interest. They are all being affected by weather. And the specific topic was about climate. And every speaker who stood, they were advancing the agenda of climate. Let's look at types of conferences. Types of conferences. Types of conferences. One is academic conferences. Academic conferences. Or academic conference. And we write that this is a formal event. This is a formal event in which academicians or researchers, present the results of their study. Yeah, that's what we call academic conference. It's a conference of academicians, people who are trained in one field. For example, we could have an academic conference for accountants, or academic conference for doctors, or for engineers. So these guys, maybe they have been engaging on a study and they want to come and present the results so that the others can listen to the results and criticize and finally adapt to the results. Number two, like a peace conference, peace, amani, peace conference. And write that this is where leaders, representatives representatives or diplomats or diplomats of the warring sides of the warring sides. The warring sides meet with the aim to end the conflict. Meet with the aim to end the conflict. We'll stop still on the same. A neutral representative, a neutral participant, let's put it that way. A neutral participant is required to regulate the meeting. It's required to regulate the meeting. It's required to regulate the meeting. Yeah, like now, the one that Uhuru Kenyatta has been chairing. Which country? Yeah, DRC. Yeah. So there are two sides that are warring, the government and the so-called, is it M23? Eh? Yeah, they are fighting. Recently we had Ethiopia and the Tigrayans who are also fighting. Here in Kenya, we have communities, especially in these semi-arid and arid areas, where these guys keep on fighting about the pastures. And you always hear a lot of peace meetings. Actually, now we have had a KDF operation. Eh? So because of this, you find that representatives from both sides, they meet. And we need to have someone who is neutral to come and mediate. Number 3, inaitwa trade conference. Trade conference. Trade conference. Trade conference, and we say this is an exhibition or a trade fair. This is an exhibition or trade fair or trade show or trade show in which several companies promote their goods and services. Promote their goods and services. They are mostly organized with a focus. They are mostly organized with a focus on a particular industry or market sector. Organized with focus on a particular industry or market sector. So like here in Kenya, you will always hear in the KICC, there is an exhibition. Yeah. And you hear maybe the Chinese guys have come, they are showing the Italian and whatever, or even the local manufacturers, they have a show. Yeah. We have a very popular one, which is known as what? Reject. Which one? The Egypt Expo, yeah, nobody see it in the papers almost every week. But the Kenyan one, very popular one. The ASK, yeah, the Agricultural Show of Kenya. Eh? Yes, yeah, the ASK. Nowadays, at least they try to devolve it. Nasikia kuna Uasin Gishu, kuna Murang'a, kuna Meru, nini. But hapo kitambo it was only in Nairobi. And I remember, especially when we were in primary school, we would save money to ensure that we come for the show. Yeah, they used to be very exciting. Those of us who are villagers, myself and Sam, will tell you, those are the only opportunities we get to come to Nairobi. So you save kabisa, you talk to your parents, your aunts, to anyone who could help you get the money for the show. And we are saying they focus on a particular sector. Like now, hapo ukienda kwa agricultural show, they only talk about agriculture. Although nowadays, because of the people being a little bit smart, utapata like now a school like Destiny, wameenda wamelipa ka store hapo, as people come to see ng'ombe and whatever else, they also see about Destiny. But ideally, the item that should be found in that show are only supposed to be agriculture. If you go to housing, there's a word they use, There's a word I'm forgetting, a short word for exhibition, Is it expo? I think something like that, expo, Yeah, expo. So when you go to a housing expo, you should only see matters, houses, nothing else. Yeah. There are also academic expos where you find now institutions, especially those who desire to go and study outside. You find very many universities who are displaying their services there. The other one, number 4, inaitwa Authors Conference. Authors, waandishi. Authors Conference. Authors Conference. And write that authors get together to review their works. Authors get together to review their works. Review their work. And possibly suggest alterations or improvements. Review their works and possibly suggest alterations or improvements. First up, the conference is also used as a venue to meet agents. Conference is also used as a venue to meet agents, editors, publishers, and other relevant professionals. So that is a meeting of those guys who author books, and not only books, even the musicians, they compose songs. So they meet and they discuss about their books, they criticize, they give suggestions on what can be done, the improvement and so on. And it is also used as an opportunity for the authors to meet the agents, these guys who sell their books, the publishers, the editors who proofread, and any other relevant professional who could add value to the world of the authors. Another one, number 5, is professional conference. Professional conference. Professional conference, very similar to academic, but a little bit different. And write that professionals from a certain field. Professionals from a certain field. From a certain field. Get together to discuss. Get together to discuss latest developments. Get together to discuss latest developments and their implications in the respective fields. Discuss latest developments and their implications in the respective fields. Yeah, like now for us accountants, we normally have conferences, which mostly are annual. And the objective is to bring to speed those accountants with any change that has happened. Because this field of accountancy and any other field, there will always be new changes, new developments. So you must be updated. You see, like now, our times when we were in school, we used to talk of balance sheets. Do you talk of balance sheet today? Huh? So you don't know what is the balance sheet? What do you use now? Yeah, statement of financial position. You talk of paid profit and loss account, TPL. You talk of income statement. You see now, in our days, we were talking the statement of financial position, income statement. We are talking of TPL and BS. So anyone who was my classmate who has not bothered to check what is happening, if you were to give them a platform to speak, they will start talking of BS and TPL. But these are terms that are no longer in use. They are no longer in use. So there will be confusion in that communication. So to ensure that everyone is kept at a level of understanding the new developments, there are always these conferences, professional conferences. And what these organizations do, like now ISPAC, to ensure that everyone attends, they make it that your license is renewable every year. And for your license to be renewed, you must have accumulated some minimum, what we call some CPD points or CPD hours, continuous professional development. So these CPD points, you get them from attending the conference. And this conference does not come for free, you pay. But because you need your license to be renewed, then you have no choice. Otherwise, if there were no issues of the license being renewed, and then you find that no one would be willing to attend, leave alone pay. Number 6 is called conference call. Conference call. Conference call. Conference call. And we write that this is a type of telephone or video call. This is a type of telephone or video call involving more than 2 persons. Involving more than 2 persons at the same time. Involving more than 2 persons at the same time. You know how to do it, especially in WhatsApp? A video call, and not only between me and you, or between you and the other person. You can be able to have more than 2 persons, Yeah, and then you discuss issues at the same time. That's the conference call. Okay, let's now look at points to consider when planning a conference. Points to consider when planning a conference. Points to consider when planning a conference. Planning a conference. Number 1. Prepare a checklist for all important aspects. Prepare a checklist for all important aspects. prepare a checklist for all important aspects. Number 2, clearly understand the purpose. Clearly understand the purpose. Number 3, define the budget well. Define the budget well. Number 4, fix and communicate the dates. Fix and communicate the dates, comma, day, time, and venue. Day, time, and venue. Another one is ensure availability of all presenters. Ensure availability of all presenters and other participants. Other participants. Another one is send registration forms out in advance. Send registration forms out in advance. Registration forms out in advance. And record responses as they come in. And record responses as they come in. Number 7 is book all the necessary logistics. Sorry, book all the necessary logistics, such as transport, accommodation, security, etc. Book all the necessary logistics, such as transport, accommodation, security, etc. Another one is design agendas and brochures appropriately. Design agendas and brochures appropriately. So if you are the one organizing, maybe you are the youth leader or you are the leader in your group or whoever you are the organizing secretary or the coordinator, and you are involved in this planning, a few things that we are saying are worth taking into consideration. One is you ensure that you have a checklist of all the important items. A checklist is simply a list of everything that you want to see. Now, this is the one that you go checking, you go ticking. Tumesema mambo ya transport, that is done. Tumesema mambo ya food, that is done. Tumesema kutafuta gate, that is done. Tumesema venue. So you have a checklist of all the important aspects. Then you clearly understand what is the purpose of this conference. Why are people gathering? What are we going to discuss? The other thing is you must know the budget well, have the expected amount. The other thing is you need to know the day, the time, the venue, and the date, and obviously communicate. And then you go ahead and confirm with the presenters. In most of these conferences, while all of us are qualified in that field, you'll find that there will be presenters will be given more special time. Like now when we go for the ISPAC meeting, all of us are accountants, but there should be one person who is selected and told, go and prepare on this topic, come and discuss it. So those are the so-called presenters. So ensure that the presenters are available. Any other person who is supposed to do whatever should be done is available. And these are some of the guys that make the conference's dates to be shifted. When you hear that the meeting has been shifted, most likely the main presenter has said they are not available on that date, but they have given us another date. The other thing is you send out the registration forms in advance so that people can prepare and people also can express their willingness to attend the meeting. Now, these forms, they're very, very important when it comes to booking the logistics. You need to know how many rooms do we need to hire, if there will be issues of accommodation, if the members will be day scholars, or maybe it's just 1 day conference. How big the hall should we have? Because you could be thinking that your meeting will be very popular, and you are thinking 1,000 persons will come, only 20 persons to come. So what do you do with the rest of the space? You have hired a hall of 1,000 persons, and only 20 persons come. It will be a total loss. Or maybe you thought that the conference is not as popular, or you thought that the fee you have charged is very high and people will not come. Like I remember the other day, was it last year? This lady from Tanzania, the gospel musician, she's called who? I have her songs, you got any? What is her name? Good, Rose Muhando, good. Rose Muhando. She had a conference here in Westlands whereby the entrance was 50,000. One day. Kenyan shillings. So to attend the event, kwa mlango unaacha 50,000. And that does not cater the drinks and the foods that you will take. Ukiingia huko ujisort. Maybe utapewa soda moja. Or those who take up, I don't think there will be alcohol because it's gospel. Yeah. So such a conference, you may think that not many people will attend, only to be surprised. There is a big turnout. Yes. Unashangaa. I think the meeting is Jan. They are people with money. What do you think to sleep in those hotels is how much per night? It is, some of them are even in excess of 50,000. Na tu na muka 70,000 na kwa imeenda. Almost 10 years ago, I thought a student was working at Hilton Hotel, and she invited me there for lunch. She was telling me they have some rooms. By then it was going for 40,000. Bed only. No, bed. If you want bed and breakfast, then the cost goes up. Now what's in a jam? Yes, you go there and you're told there is no room. 40,000. And don't complain that kwani hiyo sasa inakuja na usingizi ama na nalani. No. If you find yourself complaining, it's a clear indication you don't belong there. For now. For now, yeah. Yeah, you should go to where you belong. Where you belong, you not complain. But kama wewe saa hii uko kwa level ya 500, wakikulipisha 500, you'll be okay. Kama uko kwa level ya 1,000, 2,000, that's fine. Yeah. But unfortunately, some people, they complain. Wanaanza matusi. Yeah. When you come to do management accounting, those are the things that you discuss. Because in this life, there is everything for everyone. You know that, eh? There is everything for everyone. That's why we all live. Hata kama una 100 shillings per day, it is enough to make you live. Even when you are making almost zero, you will still get your basic needs. So there are people who do not work. Yes, and they live. In this world, there is everything for everyone. So the only thing you need to do is to strategically position Self. Kama saa hii mshahara yako ni 100, uende kwa klabu ya 100. Kama ni 100,000, uende kwa klabu ya 100,000. Yes, that's how things are. Okay. The next item that we need to discuss is called Symposia. We are through with conferences. Let's now discuss Symposia. They are popularly known as symposiums. Symposia, the math symposia, science symposium. Did you used to participate in this one in high school? So we write that a symposium is a meeting. A symposium is a meeting. Symposium is a meeting organized so that experts. Is a meeting organized so that experts in a given field can meet. So that experts in a given field can meet, present papers, discuss issues and trends, discuss issues and trends. Trends, and make recommendations for a certain course of action. And make recommendations for a certain course of action. Make recommendations for a certain course of action. So that is all that we call a symposium. It's a meeting of experts. Like I remember those days would be called for mathematics symposium. It's not every guy will be selected to go for the symposium. We will select the best, sindio? Yule anajuanga mahesabu kwa klasi yetu, yule ndiye anatumwa. Yule ako sawa kwa chemistry ndiye anatumwa. It's a meeting of experts. You don't send anyone who is not very good, otherwise it will be embarrassed. So you want the best. They come together, they discuss, they argue, they come up with the recommendations, and now from there that field follows those recommendations. Let's look at advantages of conferences and symposia. Advantages of conferences and symposia. Combining the two of them. Advantages of conferences and symposia. Number one, exchange of ideas. Exchange of ideas. Number two, solving of problems. Solving of problems. Solving of problems. Number three, improving internal communication. Improving internal communication. Another one is motivating participants. Motivating participants. And number five is promoting goodwill. Promoting goodwill. So those are some of the advantages we get when we do conferences, when we do symposiums. We are saying there will be a great platform for us to exchange ideas. And you remember the other day we said any development or any change in your life, it comes when you adopt new ideas, either for good or bad. But any change in your life comes after you get a new idea. You can never You can never grow beyond your current level if you have not gotten a new idea. Even buying a car, we desire to buy cars because we have seen cars. But if you've never seen a car, you cannot desire to have a car. If you have never seen something like this one. Have you ever seen it? Now you can desire to buy. What about rocket? Have you ever seen a rocket? Real life. Even hatchet. Have you seen it in real life? Mama ni kwa movies too. Mayona real. Okay. Rocket. The toy rocket. Eh? Yeah. So the issue is you must get an idea. You must get something new so that you start desiring. Yeah. And that's why it's usually very, very, very much advisable to be very careful on what you would allow to get into your mind. Because we normally say any knowledge creates a change, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not. But some people say, mimi nitaona tu na haitani affect. Hiyo ni uongo. It will affect you. Even if not now. Later on when you sleep. You know when we sleep, what you are seeing through the day starts coming. Yeah. And in a travel, hivyo inafika mpaka huku nyuma in the subconscious or the unconscious mind, and it starts influencing you. By and by, unajipata now you are getting into those things. Yeah. If I use the example of the church, where I'm normally exposed to more. We are people saying, mimi nimekuja kanisa lakini hakuna mtu ameniita, hakuna mtu amenihubiria. Hiyo ni uongo. You cannot just come. You heard the message somewhere. Saa hiyo ukakataa. But because ulikubali ingie kwa kichwa yako, it has continuously worked on you. And finally umeamuka siku moja umejileta. Yes, that's what happens. But kama ulikataa ukaifunga na usisimame hapo usikie what they are saying, then it will not have worked on you. So you must get these ideas for there to be a change. The other thing is that it helps us to solve the problems that we are currently having. It improves internal communication. There is the issue of motivating the participants. You remember those days when people would go for the symposiums, especially in the boarding, actually even in the day school where I was, you would really fight to be included. Hata kama unajua you're not good in Kiswahili, and it's a Kiswahili symposium. Unang'ang'ana kabisa, you even practice, you cram, at least ndio usikie kwa hiyo gari yenye itaenda out. Yeah, it is really motivating. There is the issue of goodwill that comes about. Let's look at disadvantages. Disadvantages of conferences and symposia. Disadvantages of conferences. One is lack of seriousness. Lack of seriousness. Lack of seriousness. Number two, ineffective leadership. Ineffective leadership. Another one is poor opinion about management. Poor opinion about management. Another one is domination by a few participants. Domination by a few participants. Another one is lack of concrete actions. Lack of concrete actions. Another one is expensive. Expensive. Those are some of the problems you find in these conferences. One, there is a lack of seriousness. I've just said that we would do anything possible to be included in that trip. The moment your name ishaingia hapo, sasa wewe umefika. Hata ukifika hapo kwa venue, you can afford to lose the game. Because wewe hoja yako haikuwa kuingia kwa hiyo room ya Kiswahili ama mahesabu. Hoja yako ilikuwa tu kutoka nje. So the same thing happens. Like now your conference ilikuwa Egypt. Most of those fellows who had gone there, hawakuwa wameenda to discuss mambo ya environment. Their agenda was just to travel out of Kenya and to go to Egypt and become tourists there. Some of them even do not attend the conference. During the conference time, wanathurura kwa streets za Cairo ama whatever. Yeah. So there is a lack of what? Seriousness. And bearing in mind that it is very expensive. It has costed us money, but people go there to do other things. There is ineffective leadership. So who is the coordinator of that group? You find again that becomes a problem. There's a challenge of who is the leader. And the other one is that most of these platforms, they are used by participants to criticize the management. When you hear, like now your conference that was there, I remember even our own president, he stood and he was talking of how the big boys have failed, how Africa is the biggest sufferer. I think they were talking of 95% of the harmful effect they are experienced in Africa. But Africa is not given money. Maybe they are given less than 10%. So it's like they provide a forum for people to complain. So they talk about the bad side of the management. And that again is not very good. And you may find that there will be a few characters who want to dominate the conference. There are some people who are very talkative. Very talkative. Ni yeye tu anaongea, ni yeye tu. And these kind of characters, if they meet a weak chair, then you find it's like the meeting has become theirs. They even start silencing others. There is lack of concrete actions. Like now, tangu atoke huko hiyo conference, I've not seen anything tangible being done. Utangoja after 3 years, when they hold another one or 4 years or whatever, they go again, they complain, they come, nothing is being done. Yeah. You know, when something is being complained by the public, it may appear big, but actually nothing is happening. You see, with all due respect, there is this case of Jeff that is ongoing. People are complaining all over, but what is actually happening? Who is the complainant? Who is following? Who is taking actions? Ama ni kupiga tu makelele. When it will be the time for the rubber to hit the tarmac, who will be there? Mama akichukua wakili, nani atamlipia? Will you be willing to contribute? Or you're just willing to post justice for Jeff? That's what happens with matters public. You find that there is a lot of noise, but there is lack of concrete what? Actions. People complain, but no one is really following. But we hope that justice will be done. Okay, let's go to report writing. Why are those cases now tending to end with death? Sijui tulikuwa na Chiroba under the same circumstances. Now we have Jeff. Bridget, who next? Or who else? is because they are demonic. Huh? The LGBTQ is demonic. It's not godly at all. And those of us who read the good book, we are told the agenda of the devil is to come and steal, destroy, and kill. Yes. So the end result is death. The wages of sin is what? It's death. So when you engage in some of these things, that's the end. The end. So we need to protect ourselves from such. Unfortunately, at times they recruit people unknowingly. You can be recruited unknowingly. I don't know whether in the course of time you get back to your senses. But you can be recruited unknowingly. Okay, report writing. Let's now discuss report writing. Writing, does it have double T or a single T? It's a single word. Report writing. Right, that a report is a form of systematic presentation. A report is a form of systematic presentation. Systematic presentation of information. Systematic presentation of information relating to an event. Relating to an event. Comma. Progress of action. Progress of action. Or some business activity. Or some business activity. First of all, it is a written statement of results. It is a written statement of results. Results, events, qualities, conditions or interpretation of records. Conditions or interpretation of records. Full stop. A report is a basic management tool. A report is a basic management tool used in decision making. A report is a basic management tool used in decision making. Yeah, so basically that is what we call a report. We are saying it's a systematic presentation of information that relates to a particular event. Like now you can be told to write a report about this class. So you tell us what has happened, how it began, how it went on, how it ended. So you give us a systematic presentation of the progress of action, an event, or some business activity. And it is very, very, very important when it comes to decision making. Actually, decisions are based on reports. Even when you go to the hospital and they send it to the lab, the report that you take back to the doctor is the one that will be used to make a decision on what prescription or what action should be taken. Qualities of a good report. Qualities of a good report. One, you just listed them because there are things that you can be able to explain in your own words. One is complete. 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 Number two is clarity. Clarity. Number three is concise. 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 And number four is readable. 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 So those are the qualities of a good report. It should be complete. It should be clear. It is supposed to be concise, not very long. And it should be something that is readable. Types of reports. Types of reports. Types of reports. Number one, routine reports. Routine reports. Routine reports. You explain kidogo. These deal with matters that periodically recur. These deal with matters that periodically recur. Periodically recur, such as sales, audit, etc. Question. Some companies have pre-designed forms for these reports. Some companies have some pre-designed forms. Some companies have pre-designed forms for these reports. You see, like the register you sign, that's a routine report. It's supposed to show us who was in class. And you can see the register is already pre-designed. Every now and then, we have people coming to class. Number two, zinaitwa special reports. Special reports. Special reports. And rather, these are once only reports. Once only reports. Once only reports. So they deal with specific matters of interest and concern. They deal with specific matters of interest and concern. Yeah, like now, a committee that was established by the president on CBC. That's a special what? Report. It is once. We shall not keep on having a committee to review what? CBC. It occurs once. And it addresses a specific issue. Number three, analytical reports. Analytical reports. Analytical reports. Right, that these provide information along with the analysis. This provides information along with analysis. Along with analysis and interpretation. And interpretation from the report writer's view. from the report writer's view. First up, they are meant to assist the user. They are meant to assist the user to make a decision. Make a decision. So that is where we are given the report to Nabi what will happen hivi na hivi. Then you analyze, you say, in my own opinion, this and this and this and this. So whoever is using that report can make a better decision. Number 4, inaitwa informational reports. Informational reports. And you write that they contain information only. They contain information only. And no commentary from the writer. And they contain information only and no commentary from the writer of the report. Yeah, those are the instances you hear some people tell you what you do with this information. Huh? What you do with this information? Tekra. How do they complete that? I don't know. What you do with this information, I don't know. Me, I have just given you what? The information. So they just give the information, no comment. Number 5 is inaitwa recommendation reports. Recommendation reports. Recommendation reports. And write that these include information these include information, comma, the writer's explanation of the information, the writer's explanation of the information, and the advice from the writer. The advice from the writer. So that is more detailed. They give the information, then they analyze the information. It's like now I go and tell the principal there were 4 students in my class. That is information. Then I say 1 student was absent. Now I'm explaining. Then I say we need to check. I think we need to check why the student was absent. So you are even advising what needs to be done. So there is the information, the explanation, or your interpretation of that, and the action. Number 6, they are called research reports. Research reports. Research reports. And we write that they provide all details about the topic. They provide all details about the topic. First of all, the report offers the conclusions of the researcher. The report offers the conclusion of the researcher. Conclusion of the researcher. As well as alternative options. As well as alternative options. And their possible outcomes. Possible outcomes. Comma. All backed up. All backed up by the appropriate research. All backed up by the appropriate research. So this one is more detailed. You are giving your conclusion. Then you are saying if you don't take this one, you can go for this one. And if you go for this one, these are the possible outcomes. And this is the data that we have to show. If you don't go for B, this is C. You can go for it. These are the results. So it's very detailed and it gives a wide range of options to the user of the report. So we can call it a day at that juncture and hope to pick up from there in our next lesson. We're likely to have a change. Tomorrow you will be having more, Mwalimu communicated, Tomorrow is Wednesday.
Yes.
He told me, you have not talked. Okay. Sasa hiyo mtajipanga na yeye. But the report I have is that tomorrow is going to teach you because Friday you had a quiet. Yeah. So I thought you have agreed. If not, you shall. Then from next week, on Thursdays, I propose you'll be having law double. And then the communication skills to be done on Monday. Yeah, from next week on Monday. But this Thursday I'm coming for the communication skills. Yeah, but from next week, Monday, instead of law, I'll be coming in for com skills. Then on Thursday, Mwalimu will be doing double. Yeah. So I hope that is well understood.